fascinating new polling out from Rasmussen.
This is my favorite story.
This is a great story. Randy DeSoto here at the Western Journal, he put this together. I'm going to read you just a couple of graphs. A newly released Rasmussen reports poll finds that viewers of conservative cable news channels better understand the risk of death from COVID-19 than those who watch liberal channels such as CNN or MSNBC. The Johns Hopkins University of Medicine's website states that there is a 1.6% mortality rate for those diagnosed with the virus in the U.S. Rasmussen determined that 30% of American adults overall correctly estimated the death rate as being less than 2%, while 20% believed it to be between 2 and 5%. 17% thought that it ranged between 5 and 10%, and 19% believed it was greater than 10%, so we're getting close to an order of magnitude there. Those who reported watching conservative outlets tended to more accurately state the death rate. Quote, more viewers of Newsmax, 40%, and Fox News, 34%, correctly estimated COVID-19 mortality rates than viewers of CNN at 22% or MSNBC 24%, according to Rasmussen. Meanwhile, 38% of those who did not watch cable news responded with the right rate. Almost it's over a third, closing in on half. A similar breakdown was present between Republicans and Democrats, with the latter being more likely to overestimate the risk of death from COVID-19. Last thing, 28% of Democrats think over 10% die after being diagnosed with the illness, while just 14% of Republicans believe the same thing. So it's double in Democrats. So I think the real question, this poses all kinds of questions, but isn't one of the core ones, does it turn out that cable news is the group that is pushing the most misinformation out there? Can we take that away from this, Tara?
Yeah.
I guess you can. I mean, I don't know whether or not, I don't even know. I guess it just comes down to the fact that what I've been saying for the past few episodes is that outrage sells, fear sells. And I really do think that COVID has become the new golden child of modern media, because it's the new thing that they can always blame and always point to. They did that with Trump. They don't have that anymore. And now COVID-19 is the new way to make them feel like saints, because they definitely felt like saints when they could complain about Trump every day. But guess what? When you throw a sitting president of the United States off of Twitter, get rid of every outlet he can speak on, the news cycle that you once depended on suddenly becomes very dry. And it's by the same companies in big tech that you supported, that you propped up, that simultaneously is backing you. And so it's just really funny at the end of the day that like the little guys, the little newsrooms, kind of like Western Journal and Newsmax, that we're getting it right, and we're not by big tech. We're not by these billionaires.
Well, taking a really close look at these numbers, I think just is so interesting. So you have Newsmax, 40% of Newsmax viewers. That's the highest percentage of people that get it accurate. Then it's Fox News at 34%, MSNBC at 24%, and CNN at 22%, and then OAN, One America News, at 21%. And what I find so interesting. So basically this is what I get from this. So conservative news that tries to be accurate, that does its due diligence, is the best. Yeah. News that tries to be politically unbiased, Fox News is headed in that direction, although they're the most accurate of these guys. CNN, NBC, they're much less accurate. And then OAN, which is a little more sensationalist, a little more fast and loose with the facts. They're right there with CNN, with the unbiased, politically neutral CNN. Then Newsmax, which I would say probably the closest of those outlets to the kind of coverage we do here, and yet I still think a lot of editors and a lot of people in the newsroom would say we do our due diligence even more than them. But, mainline conservative news, conservative opinions and conservative news, they're getting things the most accurate, more than anybody else.
So why is it that conservatives are getting this right?
because I really do feel like a broken record here, but it's like when you look at things from a conservative perspective, it's what I've said time and time again. We don't view the government as God.
Yeah,
We don't
that's
view
a good
this
point.
world as it. Ultimately, our salvation is in Jesus Christ. So we're not constantly paralyzed with this fear over a virus with a 1% death rate. You know,
Yeah.
we have a higher power to look to. We don't need to look to MSNBC. We don't need to look to CNN. You know, I think it's like we see like a bigger picture, if that makes sense.
Yeah, some of these people are pretending like they're neutral. Some of these people are pretending like they're the truth, even though they're just pushing their agendas. The most accurate group are the conservatives who are doing their best to push the truth, and that's it. And that just, what it tells me is that all of these groups have incredible biases. Some of them are more open about it than others. And when you're open about it, you're allowed, it gives you a certain freedom to actually pursue the
Exactly.
truth.
Yeah.
Instead of, selecting particular stories that fit your narrative or particular angles that fit your narrative or facts.
Yeah.
You actually tell the truth with the facts you're given. And that's what mainstream conservative news has done. And that's why those viewers, those readers, are, they're the most accurate when it comes to knowing what COVID actually is.